Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is your man, your boy, the man, the real John Wolf.
Uncle Jay up in here. How we doing tonight, ladies and gentlemen?
We're happy to be here. We want to apologize for the slip up. We recorded an episode like last Monday or Tuesday, but we recorded halfway through. So we didn't want to do that to you and just put out anything. We want to give you some quality. We also want to show you that we've been taking the criticism and building on it. We heard about the some of the audio, some of the video, Mom. And, we just want to take your criticisms and make the podcast better. Hopefully this one comes out a little bit better, sounding a little bit better. But
the fortress is in a new realm.
Yeah.
So people were saying left side was loud, right side was dim.
Yeah.
We're still in the IT part of it. IT Mr. Wolf over here. IT Mr. Internet. IT Mr. Yeah. Man, all I do is run at the mouse. He takes care of everything else right now.
Yeah.
So if there's a guru who would like to step up and be a part of this wonderful thing.
No.
Please be a part of it. But just to let you know, we're making $0.00.
Yeah.
So please don't think you're going to get paid to be a part of this wonderful thing.
Yeah. It's the journey. And when we get some money, then we can talk. But so before we jump into our content, quick shout out to Athletic Light. Again, this is my favorite non-alcoholic brand. It's a couple other brands. I think I'm going to bring, there's one called Untitled Art that I really like. I'm going to try to find some of that. I get that at Benny's, but I get this at Meijer. I get it at Benny's. I can get it at Target. And this one is actually a little bit harder to find. I get it at Meijer, but it's really good. Closer to your, not your Pilsner. What is it? Your, no, I think it is Pilsner. Lager. Actually, whichever one. It's closer to like Bud Light, but it's very crisp, very refreshing, and it's 25 calories.
He's all into that non-alcoholic. I love the flavor, and it is the greatest thing ever. Me, on the other hand, I enjoy the buzz like the rest of us. So on the weekends when it's an affordable drink, I drink the old JB. Yeah. Does me well. You can find it. I will tell you this. I don't want to give Benny's too much hype, but
I'll bleep that out.
No, just give them more props as due.
Yeah.
I can go in there and buy a handle. This is a handle, ladies and gentlemen. It's not a fifth. When they're running their sale, anywhere between $17 to $19 for a handle. That's a gallon of liquor, man.
Yeah.
I went to a small gas station the other day. Their fifth was $33.
Jesus.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, shit.
They know you're on the way to the party. They're like, oh yeah, you last minute. So
I don't want to downgrade the Jack Daniels, the Jim Beam. Each week, I promise you that we come out with our new thing. We're going to discuss a little bit, have a little drink with everybody. Try to relax, not make everything so wound up and high tight. Mm-hmm. Enjoy a cocktail, maybe discuss the cocktail.
Yeah.
Me, I'm an alcoholic guy. That was
You're an alcohol guy.
I am an alcohol guy.
Yeah, not an alcoholic.
I'm an alcohol guy. There you go.
He doesn't wake up and his hands are shaking.
So I enjoy the alcohol side of it.
Yeah.
It is impressive that you still enjoy the flavor.
Oh yeah.
But don't need the buzz anymore. I think that can be a whole nother
I was just going to say, man, that's got to be a whole
conversation.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people out there that wake up to strive for that buzz, right?
Yeah.
And it's amazing that I don't strive for the buzz. I enjoy that motherfucker.
I was just going to say, there's a difference between what you do.
You don't give a shit either way. If you had a buzz or you didn't, and I think, honestly, as long as I've known you, you're more of, I don't want the buzz anymore because of the after effects.
Yeah, in many different facets. I think the best part of it is, and this is maybe a little bit vulnerable. And, of course, like Uncle Jay said, we're going to talk a little bit more about that. But I've been drinking alcohol since I was... I didn't drink it really when I was 16, but, you go to a party, you have a shot or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody's got some shitty whatever... ever since I became an adult, I was drinking alcohol. You know what I mean? Somebody had alcohol. It was a party. It was you're at the bar. You're at the beach. You're at the.
Became an adult.
Ever since
since you've been around adults.
That too, but
because I think that leads into where we want to go tonight. the whole, and we've touched on this in previous episodes. Yeah. So does alcohol, drugs, women, does all that lead into our conversation tonight?
No.
So it is the complete
opposite. But I'll just say this, and we can jump right into that.
Well, it gets a great starting point. That's great. People are like, what? What do you mean?
They're like, what the fuck?
Exactly, yeah.
And we're about to tell you, but basically, it's really just, it's a longer story. We'll talk about it a different time. I just think that as far as alcohol, I didn't know who I was. You know what I mean? I didn't know who I was because I had alcohol to help myself express myself. But if you don't dance when you're sober because you love to dance, but you dance when you're drunk, that says something about your belief in yourself. So for me, man, I'm fucking Usher with tequila. Like, I'm dancing my ass off. But I'll tell you, like, I don't want to be judged. I don't really know how to dance. But when you're drunk, you have that freedom. You're moving and stuff, and you're not holding yourself back.
The drunk,
yeah.
That's what you said. So the drunk drops the inhibition to be. Yeah. Oh, wait a minute, is people looking? Mm-hmm. Everybody always says whether you're drunk or not is kind of irrelevant. Mm-hmm. Dance like nobody's looking.
Yeah, I learned that after. So this past year, I learned how to dance like nobody's looking. Yeah, exactly. Okay. So I wanted that year to rediscover myself. Plus, petty arguments and stuff because you're drunk and you're emotional and your inhibition is, or your judgment's affected. So you think that somebody's being disrespectful and it's not. And we're not. It affects our brain. We can't help it. So. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't, and I just wanted to get to know myself, and I like myself a lot better without it. Although I will still, we're gonna travel. My fiance and I love to travel, so I love to try beers from different places, craft beers and stuff. So we will drink some, but I wanted to take it out to the point where it's not like, okay, well, it's dinner time, I want a beer, or.
Well, I just want everybody to get the premise. It's not like this is something you've done for 2 months.
The cult members drink too.
Well, hang on, we're gonna
the cult drinks too.
Catholics are alcoholics, so I mean, we'll get to the cult because that's where we're. You
go ahead and drive this thing. You ask the questions.
You totally made me lose train of thought.
Oh shit, I'm sorry.
What were we just saying? Damn it.
The cult. They drink too.
You don't drink to have a good time. The good time happens while you're drinking. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You have found that, and I respect you for this, you have found that balance to where you can have the most amazingest time at whatever party you're at.
Yep.
You don't need the drugs. You don't need the alcohol. The environment is your stimuli.
Exactly.
And man, I don't necessarily need the drugs.
Yeah.
But I sure love that alcohol.
And I love it too.
No, you don't. And I just want to spit fair. I want to spit you some love. Don't play these people. They're going to call you out. You don't like alcohol. The next day you feel so shitty.
Yeah.
You call yourself on it every single time. I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have done that.
I love enjoying. I should have rephrased that.
But you enjoy it without it. That's what
I enjoy it without it now. I didn't know it was a thing, and then I was like, "Why is that? O'Doul's?" We all heard about O'Doul's.
O'Doul's is you're a pussy. You're just drinking a beer with no alcohol. What's the point?
But now I find it's a whole other culture. So I'm like, "Oh man,
it's a whole other cult." Sure,
it's a whole other culture. Lead them into it, Uncle Jay. Go ahead and tell them before they text us and say, "Where the fuck are you?"
We're getting there. I mean, we got a short time tonight to air this out. So I'm going to tell everybody right now. Excuse me. I left myself vulnerable this evening. I kind of told you before we were going to come down here that I didn't want to have ammo.
Right.
I wanted to have pure, this is my thought. Here it comes. Whether I'm right or wrong, because I do roll off the tongue like it's dog shit. It happens. But it's from the heart. It's instantaneous. There's not, hey, we drew this up to get clicks and likes.
Right.
So I decided not to do any type of research on what we're talking about tonight.
Okay.
And to give everybody a perspective, what we're talking about tonight is a little bit of your life.
Yeah.
What was the age start and what was the age stop?
Beginning to 21.
So you were born into it, and at 21 you made a collective decision to make a choice.
Yeah.
So where we're going with it tonight, ladies and gentlemen, is I call it a cult. and I don't have my phone right in front of me, so I apologize. I should have had this ready. I don't know definition what cult is. I'm sure you can relate or you can reply on it.
Well, I mean, cult is just short for culture, but I mean, like the FBI has like, oh, a cult. This is the definition, but really that's all it is. And you have, people say that certain political parties are a cult, and while that's not true in the context that they're saying, it's true because the house scene is it's a different culture. There's subcultures. This is how we are as a society collectively. We all have our independent subcultures. But as far as growing up in a cult, as far as a religious cult, it's just a religious culture that's different from other ones. But it has a severe negative impact, like a lot of other religious cultures.
So you said religious cult.
Yeah.
And like I said, I left this completely negative so I can just ask questions as we go because we got an audience.
Yeah, for sure.
And they're like, what do you mean? So I'm trying to put myself in the point of I'm the audience member.
Mm-hmm.
Where did it start? What happened? Where did you know you were in a cult versus...
I didn't know.
This is... Oh, so you...
You didn't know.
I mean, you know now.
I know now.
So that's what I'm saying. When did you... You were born into it. Mm. You grew up watching everybody, seeing everything.
Right.
When did it go, wait a minute. What? Hang on. Johnny's telling me this. My mom and dad or aunt and uncle or my best... You're getting both... At some point, you had to be getting both sides. You had to...
21. That's where I found it.
Seriously. So it was 21 years of... I don't want to say you were blinded because I don't know.
No, I was blind. Yeah.
Let's go into that. Let's start at the beginning.
Okay.
I don't think we don't have enough time.
We don't have enough time. This is going to be part one, for sure.
We don't have enough time tonight to go 21 years. But let's do a short synapse.
Well, here, I could sum it all up.
Yeah, let's do some beginning, some entry, some life experience, and then, oh, hell no. So, you know what I mean? Let's break it down like that, and then we can dive back into it.
For sure. So for the audience that doesn't know, I'm from southwest Germany. It's a little town called Simbach. My dad was in the Air Force, so that's why I'm from there. And I, although, so people like to argue about, are you from there? And whatever, do you have dual citizenship? I mean, that's the first place I remember.
Oh, you're Barack Obama.
He's from Hawaii, isn't he? Or somewhere?
Fuck, who knows? Anyway, I just had to fucking rock the boat. Go ahead.
Or maybe it's anyway. But he, yes, I am Barack Obama. Yeah, I'm wearing a suit. I'm in the CIA.
There you go.
But so I'm from Germany, and in Germany, I remember going to the Kingdom Hall in Germany. I remember.
The Kingdom Hall?
That's what they call it. It's not church. It's called the Kingdom Hall.
I just wanted to make sure.
And so,
you say it so fast, like it's like.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I want to make sure everybody heard you correctly. No, it's all good.
The Kingdom Hall. So, for those of you who don't know, the Jehovah's Witnesses don't call the church. No popular term we don't use. I'm not in that shit anymore, but they don't use. And so it was called the Kingdom Hall. That's where you go for your religious ceremonies. You go on Sunday. You go usually on Monday, and you go on Thursday. So it's like a 2-hour meeting on Sunday, an hour, 2-hour meeting on like Monday or Tuesday. I forget which day. It's either Monday or Tuesday. I think it might be Tuesday.
You are old, so you've been out of it for a minute.
For a while, yeah. And then you have an hour meeting on Thursday, and in between that you're going out in field service, so you're knocking on doors. In between
field service,
yeah.
Dive into that for just a split second, just a small second.
It's where you go knock on the doors and you try to recruit people.
On the door, recruit. What do you mean? So you knock on my door, you say, "Hey, Mr. Smith, do you want to love God?" I mean,
no. Hey, have you ever thought about? They'll ask some sort of question. I was quite young when I did it, and I was 8, 9 years old. So who gives a shit about knocking on people's doors? Like it's 7, 8, 9. You don't want to do that shit. You want to go play in the mud. Your friends are outside playing. You don't want to tell people you're a witness because they make fun of you, and we understand that. But I remember, it was some hot chick named Gina, and so I loved going out in field service with her. She'd get me water and candy.
You're
Not
8,
water.
9 years old. What do you mean, hot chick Gina?
I liked her because she was attractive.
I get that.
I understood that then. Yeah,
you understood it. 8, 9 year. Oh damn.
I'm like, man, yeah, I like her. She loves to hold me too.
Savings.
Yeah, and so she, I would go out field service with them, and they get us McDonald's. So that's why I really like to go, because you get a Happy Meal at the end of it. But
a Happy Meal?
you know, you're embarrassed. Yeah, you knock on the door, and
No,
it's
you
just
said Happy Meal. Are we talking like a Happy Meal, or are we talking just a Happy Meal?
just a Happy Meal. Yeah.
Oh, see.
So I'll get to that.
Okay. Here we go.
But yeah, unfortunately, they won't hear all that today. But I'll give them a quick thing. Man, we've been all over the place. But yeah, so the witnesses, I started going. My mom, her mother got into it. I told you before that my grandmother, like, we have magic is in our DNA, in our blood. So we have several paranormal things, and that's a whole different conversation. But my grandmother's mother, so my great grandmother, did voodoo, like the real deal voodoo, not like, you know, she, you know, oh, the moon's here and whatever. Like, she did voodoo.
Unfortunately, so did my mom's dad.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that too. Mm-hmm. But she did that, and I used to hear stories about it growing up. So I would hear about like what my grandma saw and what was in the house and blah blah blah. And so when you don't understand that stuff, like, I understand that now, and where I'm at spiritually is kind of along those same lines. But I understand what it is, so I understand what's happening. But if you don't understand what's going on, and you see somebody else who may be an ancestor or maybe whatever, but they're not supposed to be here, and you see them at night, and they're really tall and up to the ceiling, and they got red eyes or some shit, whatever my grandma said, that shit's terrifying. It's a ghost, it's a demon, it's a whatever. So at some point, my grandmother got recruited by the witnesses, and she went, and she's been going her whole life. She's still a Jehovah's Witness. So my mom, her sister, and their brother grew up in it. Their kids grew up in it, and that's kind of how it happens.
Your mom, your sister, your brother?
Her sister,
but
Tony.
Not your dad.
My dad was Baptist, so his family went to church. They were Baptist, and
That's
so
a whole nother topic, whole nother day.
He didn't care about it. He didn't go to the Kingdom Hall, but
that was his wife.
Yeah, he let her do her thing and didn't really get in between it. So when we came to the States, I was 6 or whatever, and we were still going. And my parents split up at 11. There was a period of time where I didn't go to the Kingdom Hall, so I had my first birthday when I was 13. But it felt wrong. So as a kid, you're so brainwashed. I remember during
the Jehovah's Witnesses, you don't celebrate birthdays?
We don't celebrate birthdays, holidays, because they're
I think you're leaving so much out. I know we're doing just a quick synapse here, just to give everybody a little bit of a
we
tease.
can jump in depth, but we don't celebrate holidays. We didn't celebrate holidays. None of that. So we miss out on all that. You can't be friends with other people that don't go to the Kingdom Hall because they're worldly. So your friend group is the Kingdom Hall. So you see how they cut you off from the outside world?
Doesn't make sense to me. I'm a Christian value, and Christian loves everybody.
Well, they're Christian, and technically they are because they follow the Bible and blah blah blah. But so when I was 13, I celebrated Halloween for the first time because my grandparents hated that. My dad's parents hated that. My dad hated that, but they didn't. I mean, that's my mother, and that she's being a mother, so whatever. You know what I mean? Like, they're not going to get in between it. But it felt wrong. So imagine being a kid. And you finally get to do this thing that you always wanted to do. And I remember when I was a kid, I used to get the you'd be at school and I'd cut out, like, for Thanksgiving, like the cornucopia or whatever.
Yeah.
I would cut it out and I would put it on the other side of my door because when you walk past people's houses, you see the decorations. Yeah. But we couldn't have that with no holiday lights, no nothing. And we were poor, so it wouldn't have been fun anyway. But I missed out on all that. So I'm just like, man, you know, I would walk past my door and imagine I was looking at my house, and you know, I would just, I'm a kid. I don't understand what's going on. So, 13, I'm practicing it. I had a little bit of time to not be in it, but I always felt guilty. I always felt like I needed to pray. I needed to do this and blah blah blah. When I was like 15 or 16, one of my mom's friends got in touch with me, and she was like, you know, I feel like.
Did she touch you?
No.
Oh shit.
But she was like, I feel like over the phone, you know, she didn't touch me over the phone, but over the phone we had talked. And she was like, you know, basically she wanted to reignite that in me, and kind of touched on some of the guilt I have for not going to the Kingdom Hall and stuff like that. And we would go see my grandparents. We would go to the Kingdom Hall on Sundays. And if we didn't go, we couldn't go outside and play, and we couldn't do all that other kid shit. But so I was doing that with her. My parents got back together, split up, and then my dad was going to the Kingdom Hall for a second, just because he needed some support, not because he believes it. And then as I got older, moved out, I ended up getting remarried because I was studying with the witnesses again because I lived with my grandma.
Remarried? That means
I'm sorry, not remarried, married.
Okay.
And, you know, I thought I had a girl pregnant. It turned out she was pregnant with somebody else's kid, but I didn't know it at the time. And you know,
That's
I got
a whole nother black man conversation, isn't it?
Yeah, and so I ended up marrying her because the witnesses were pushing me to do it. My aha moment was I started going to Parkland College, and it was really just like I went there. I knew I wasn't gonna make it. I did terrible in high school. I lost my job, and I was like, well, here, you know, they'll pay you to go to school, and so I go there, take the test, and I'm in. I was like, what the fuck do you mean I'm in? Like, I'm not supposed to be able to get in. They're like, yeah, you know, you're a little behind in math, but you're good everywhere else. So I was like, oh, fuck. I took a Bio 101 course, and in Bio 101, they said that 10,000 years ago, there was a bottleneck. So for people who don't know, this is a bottle. This is the bottleneck. So 10,000 years ago, it was some sort of world event.
Flowing, stop.
Yeah.
Jam up.
So these are all cheetahs. And so there was some event to where the population decreased so much that they're able to tell how closely related all the cheetahs are by taking a skin graft off one and putting it on another. They found that 100% of the time the skin grafts were rejected because the DNA match was too close. So they're inbreeding to have children and blah, blah, blah.
Well, that's how you get a perfect DNA or a perfect genetic, like when you have a purebred Doberman.
Yeah.
It's because he fucked his daughter and his daughter fucked his brother. And that's how you keep the line.
So that's how they had it. And so I remember I heard that and I was like, well, 10,000 years ago, the world's only 6,000 years old. So what do you mean? That's what we were taught. So I go to my grandmother's house and this is what did it. She showed me doubt. So I already knew, I was already like, this doesn't make sense. Science is teaching us this and that.
So the woman has wisdom and she's giving you the opportunity to question what you've been taught.
No, she didn't give me shit. I walked in the house and I forgot what I was doing, but I was there for a second. I remember I looked in the kitchen, like if this is the kitchen over there is the back door that leads to the backyard, but there's a picture of Noah's Ark. So I'm like, you know what? I worked at a pet shop too. And I know that when you put a saltwater fish in freshwater and a freshwater fish in saltwater, it will die. So even when you put a fish in water, you have to sit the bag in there so it can acclimate first. But if God just flooded the world, like the entire world, all the fish would be dead, and then the whole shit, everything would collapse. So I'm starting to think about that. I'm like, so Grandma, like there's two of each. How are there just two of each? Like they're not going to be able to reproduce it because I'm learning science. And then she's like, well, that's what the Bible says. And once she said that, my heart dropped, and I said, my life is a lie.
So hang on a second. I want you to keep going, but like I said, audience thinking mentality. Yeah. So everything you were taught was opposite of the Bible. Grandma says the Bible, and then you question shit. Is that what I just heard?
Everything I was taught in school, it was showing me like, this is what the scientific method says.
Scientific is not the Bible.
Right.
So the Jehovah's Witness is what you were being taught. Was not the Bible.
No, they teach you the Bible, but like they have their own, they have beliefs.
They have their version of the Bible.
No, it's just the Bible. So you have the King James Bible, which is usually what you find in the church. They have something called the New World Translation, which is just a modern day version of that Bible.
Somebody else's alternative.
No, it's just modernized. So there's no thee and thou. It's just like how we talk now. I can get into who created the Jehovah's Witnesses and why, and then I don't understand why that didn't wake me up. But my grandmother's doubt woke me up. And
that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, and ever since then,
was she a Christian or was she a Jehovah's Witness as well?
They believe they're Christians. So it's like the same shit because they live by the Bible.
It's not the same shit.
It's the same Bible. It's just the only difference is they believe that Jesus is the Son of God, and this actually makes sense because
Christians do or Jehovah's Witnesses?
Jehovah's Witnesses do. They believe that.
So Christians don't believe he's the Son of God?
No, they believe that Jesus is God and also the Son of God.
Can't be both.
That's what they believe.
This is a great topic.
Yeah, they believe that Jesus Christ is God. The Jehovah's Witnesses believe that Jehovah God is God and Jesus is his son.
Now, I'm not an expert on religion. I grew up Christian. Mm-hmm. Jesus Christ is the Son of God.
Right.
That's not what you just said.
That's what Christians believe.
No, I'm a Christian. That's not what we believe. We believe that Jesus Christ is the Son of God.
Well, who's God then?
God is God.
What's his name?
God.
It can't be because that's Hebrew in Hebrew that means mighty one. So God is a title. God isn't a name.
See, this is great. This is why I didn't do any type of research, so that way we could do this. Because where and how I grew up is kind of irrelevant, but it was Wednesday was church, Sunday was church, it's church, and
But even like if you think about it, Jesus Christ, Jesus, that's not his name either.
No, it's not.
Yeah. If we're going historically, you know,
you can go historically, and then we can start breaking shit down and what was made to believe versus what is.
Yeah.
That's not where we're going tonight, ladies and gentlemen. This is about John Wolf and his cult.
Yeah.
But we're liking to leave the door open. This screams up great conversation for later time.
Yeah.
It's all love.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I don't want to offend anybody in saying what their belief is wrong.
Mm-hmm. You know, it's wrong. Their belief is wrong.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be that guy, but...
No, it's wrong. Like, it's objectively wrong, subjectively wrong. And we'll go into some shit that will make your skin crawl. Like, it's not even just like... I'll even up to like sexual abuse and stuff.
Well,
we'll
right
talk
there,
about
then we bring out a whole nother topic of...
Yeah, it's so much to say
Uncle
about
Jay that I don't really want to put on camera at this particular moment.
Yeah.
So, let's end it here tonight. This is part 1.
Yeah.
I would love to roll into this more and maybe do another 2-part series, and then maybe put a little X rating on the 3rd part, because I think it might get a little bit...
It's so much to tell you. It's so much shit. It's actually crazy. And you know, I think I'll tell you this too. For a lot of people are just like, that shit sounds fucking stupid. Well, you're right. Yeah, it does. But think about this.
If you don't know any better, how do you know it's stupid?
Not even just that. That is the first part.
That would be my biggest thing.
No, but you're correct. That's the first part. The second part is, you remember, so if you grew up, you can't be friends with people that aren't witnesses. You can know them. You know, you might be friendly.
Well,
but you can't be friends
with them. What classifies as a friend? Someone you talk to? Someone you hang out with?
That's open for debate. But, you know, I had friends in the neighborhood growing up, but we, you know what I mean? Like, my mom was kind of like loose with it, which I think was kind of a saving grace too. But your support system is Jehovah's Witnesses. So a lot of times some witnesses might own a landscaping company. They don't want you to go to college. They don't want you to do anything that's going to take time away from the kingdom's work. So your friends, your worship, you know, your where you go to worship, your wife, everybody's Jehovah's Witness.
How does the kingdom repay you from all your work?
They don't.
I don't mean to be this way, but why put in all that work?
Because
of the potential afterlife.
Because the world is going to end any moment now. So this is what you hear all the time: is that the world's about to end, and we're on the precipice, and they have assemblies.
You're in your 30s, and you learned this when you were 8.
When I was born.
When's the world going to end?
Someday. It was supposed to end in 1918 or 1914. It was
supposed to end in the 90s when I was in school. Yeah. We all prayed and put our heads down at lunch, and it went 1 o'clock next.
Yep, that's exactly what happened. I think it was like the 70s. They were like, the world's going to end now. This is the time. And then a bunch of people left. They keep doing this thing. So now everything that we're doing, anything that you see on the news, they say peace and security. You think the world is ending, especially like, you know, there's times where shit gets really bad. The shit that happened in Israel, all this other stuff. Especially
the world's fucked, bud.
Well, Israel is a holy land, so like stuff's happening there. Oh my God, this is in the Bible, and you know.
So because that river's disappearing, and once that river disappears, here's the world coming to an end.
So you know, the world already came. The world has come to the end every day for somebody.
Multiple
you know what I mean?
Times. But
the whole thing is that just imagine not having any support outside. This is all you know. You have no skills. You didn't go to college. You're 35.
So that brings up a question. This is all you know, and you have no skills. I'm going to stop right there.
Right.
My question would be, 1, why is it all you know? And 2, if it's truly gospel, it's the way of the world, what you're being taught.
Right.
Why not teach you education? Why not teach you
this is how they do it.
A job? Why not teach you to be a better human being?
Because this is how they do it.
Why drive whatever religion it is that you're... Why just shove that down your throat and that's the only thing that matters in the world? You wake up and breathe, eat, and shit religion. What?
Because somebody with an opinion will fuck everything up. Somebody like me.
Somebody with an opposite opinion.
Yeah. Somebody who's like me, who's like, this shit doesn't make any sense. And they had elders. They had people, and we could break all that stuff down, but they had people come to me. And because this guy named Jamie...
Regular religion doesn't make sense 90% of the time.
Oh, man, wait till you hear what I got to tell you. because it's a bunch of other shit. But
do
like,
we throw it in? Do we have time? Or
I mean, we're already over the 20 minutes. But I would just say this: that like, I mean, just imagine like your whole world is this, and then they cut it off. If anybody gets a chance, watch a documentary called "Truth Be Told." You'll probably have to pay $3 on it. I found it on YouTube before. I can't find it now, but I'm pretty sure if you Google it, there's a UFC fighter. His name is Nate Corey. He was really good, but he's like, man, you got to hear his story, and maybe you could still Nate Corey, Truth Be Told, Jehovah's Witnesses, whatever on YouTube. And when he talks about it, like the trauma from being cut off from the entire world, growing up, and then now you're in the world and you're like, I don't know what to do.
So what's the difference between that? I don't want to take anything away. I don't mean any disrespect to anybody. What you just said, taking you out of the real world. Mm-hmm. What's the difference between that and being Amish? I mean, is the mind fuck different, but the end goal's the same?
Mind fuck is probably the same, but
mind fuck's the same, but end result's different.
I think so.
Are they both the same? You know what I mean?
There's a lot of good stuff that you can. There's a lot of good stuff you can get from the Amish. I think that the mind fuck would still be the same because like escaping the Amish.
You're
like,
preaching one entity, one goal. That's where the mind fuck is.
The lack of freedom,
the option,
the freedom and the control is the trauma. And then like, man, there's so much to touch on. But like, it's just I think it's a similar mind fuck. I think that they're an extreme version of Christianity. They do some good things. Like you learn a lot. Like Ty Lopez.
I'm sure the Jehovah's Witnesses do some good things.
They do, and some great people.
There that makes it fucked up, right? Or is it what you do that makes it?
It's
fucked up?
what you do that makes you fucked up. I believe. I mean, they're great people, but
so you
like
have 10 good things and one fucked up thing, and you're fucked up.
If I'm your son, the witnesses believe this. They call it shunning, and they believe this is a holy punishment. If I'm your son and you're like, hey, you're not going to the kingdom, or you're not going to be a Jehovah's Witness. No, I don't believe in that anymore. You're supposed to cut me off. We're not supposed to talk. You're not supposed to see me. Nothing. You're not supposed to feed me. I'm not supposed to be in your house.
Daughter, husband, wife. If you believe
that's
different,
it. Until you come back, and when you come back, which really this is abuse. Once you come back, they welcome you in. But like, where are you supposed to go? My whole. Sorry, I got food in my mouth. But your whole fucking life is the witnesses. Now, where do you go?
Hang on.
It's abuse.
Yes and no. This is why I didn't do any research. So on what you just said. I'm fighting with my mom and dad. I'm 17, 18 years old. I just graduated high school. Where do I go? Get the fuck out and go get a job and get a place to live.
Right, but that's different because I don't.
How is it different?
Because I don't want to believe in what you believe in. Now I have to leave the house.
Well, that's a choice. But you have that option. When they say get the fuck, I don't know what to do. You have that option.
I mean, you can leave, but like, I mean, imagine you've been.
I get it. I'm just
for the audience.
Just for the audience, I'm giving you. You always have.
You always
options.
have a choice. You always have
a
options.
choice.
And they
suck. One way I'm fucked, one way I'm disowned, and the other way I'm screwed.
Yeah.
But you had 3 options.
Yeah, you could go to the kingdom. You could say, you know what, I'm going to do what you got to do, and then plot your way to get the fuck out. But
and then dig in and build up from there.
Yep.
That's what separates, quote unquote, the men from the boys.
Yeah. But
sorry
at the
to
same
offend
time,
the ladies, but that's where it comes from.
I can definitely see the trauma. Like, you know what I mean? I can definitely see you're encouraged to not have a job. You're encouraged to focus on the kingdom work your entire life. And then when you don't want to do it, now I have to leave. Well, where am I supposed to go?
So now you sound like a Democrat supporter.
Me?
You don't know what you're saying. I don't have to have a job. I don't need it. It's because we're going to take care of you. And as soon as you leave and you're going to try to take care of yourself, we're going to shun you.
Yeah.
That's what the Democrats do.
Yeah.
A Republican says, fuck you. I'm going, sorry, we just go politics?
You went politics.
Damn, my bad.
Well, we should definitely talk more. We're 13 minutes over, but I got a lot of interesting stuff to say. We'll structure it a little bit, you know what I mean, so we don't hop around so much, but there's so much to say about it. If you have any questions, definitely hit up our Instagram, Roadside Lounge 24, and leave a comment, like, subscribe, hit the bell, and we'll see you soon.